A director acknowledges having previously made disturbing and upsetting films, but explains this project was intended to be different, something unexpected that audiences hadn't seen before. The speaker wanted to create something that was, first and foremost, fun. Many years ago, the speaker read a book by Charlie and remembered forming a strong connection with it. The speaker grew up in the East Village, originally from Brooklyn, though the East Village was the destination the speaker and friends frequented. Darren and the speaker were contemporaries who both lived in the East Village during that period. Around 2008, Darren reached out expressing interest in adapting the book. Over the years, many different people had optioned the book, but no film had been made. The speaker eventually decided to write an adaptation personally, refining the script and emailing it to Darren. Charlie eventually tracked down the speaker, who was now controlling the book rights, and asked whether the speaker would review the script. The East Village in the 1990s had an incredible atmosphere where anything felt possible. The director drew inspiration from 1980s films like After Hours, featuring the kind of action and spirit that portrayed things that could realistically happen, no matter how absurd. That energy informed how Darren approached caught stealing, finding joy in the process, and creating a film that maintained momentum and delivered an exciting ride. The character in the book carried significant lived experience. They were filming literally 6 blocks from the apartment where the book was written, and the apartment that served as the model for where the character Hank lives. Though the world had changed, the team treated it as a period piece, with Charlie remaining open to adaptation. Considerable time was spent developing the characters, and the casting process proved challenging. Throughout, Darren kept emphasizing that Austin Butler was the right person for the role. Austin Butler was described as a legend, and the speaker loved working with him. He genuinely challenges those around him, clearly knowing what he wants and being explicit about his vision. He would communicate when something didn't feel authentic, saying things like, "Do that, but do it real." When the speaker learned Darren Aronofsky would direct the film, it felt surprising, not the type of project the speaker expected him to undertake. Yet it represented a fantastic opportunity, given that Aronofsky is a brilliant director whose work has always been impressive. Stanley Kubrick himself had seen Pi and praised Darren's work, telling someone that Darren represented the future of filmmaking and was the real deal, a comment Darren had never heard before. It was gratifying to see Aronofsky apply his sensibility to material meant to have moments of surprise and dark humor mixed with absurdity, exactly his wheelhouse. Throughout production, the goal was to make these sequences as exciting and energetic as possible. The speaker was interested in seeing Aronofsky step outside his usual comfort zone. The speaker expressed admiration for him, ranking him among his favorite filmmakers. Having worked with him through the entire production was a fantastic experience, being in the trenches together, with the project pushing in the best ways. Given the current difficult times, movies have historically served an important function: entertainment. That was the challenge for the director and everyone involved, creating something genuinely fun for the audience. The director's particular approach consists of deeply and intensely knowing the world depicted, wanting it to be super authentic yet also colorful. He's very particular about every detail and really wants everything to be real. Aronofsky's connection to subjectivity and putting viewers inside the feeling or events of a scene is unmatched by anyone else. His work on set creates a fun environment where everyone feels valued. One of his most outstanding qualities as an artist and leader is his ability to create a family atmosphere. The goal throughout production remained to make the most of every moment with the team, crew, and actors to create the best possible thing. A director grew up watching Jackie Chan films and was a huge fan, having always viewed stunts as a deep part of the filmmaking process. While many films don't provide opportunities for stunts, whenever the opportunity arose, the director wanted to perform as many stunts as possible personally. It has been a wonderful surprise to witness how much Austin Butler is capable of doing. The director explained they could hang him on the edge of a building, have him run through cars, and put him through virtually anything. The director wanted to create something really grounded and truthful because they believed there's something more dangerous about that type of violence. Austin demonstrated a clear commitment to the project and eagerness to perform the stunts. When asked about favorite action scenes, Austin identified the Chinatown foot chase as one of the most exciting, though hanging out of a window 6 stories up ranked as an incredible highlight. The director's first behind-the-scenes experiences came from Jackie Chan films, which showcased stunts that didn't go as planned instances where Chan jumped from buildings and didn't make it. Chan performed everything for real. For this production, an incredible stunt team planned a way for Austin to actually hang out of a 6th-story building window, which felt far more authentic. Austin was described as amazing and a hard worker. Every character was expected to perform their own action sequences. Early in the process, when working with such a cast of fantastic character actors, the team had to develop expectations for what each performer could achieve. Austin drove the car while co-star Vincent D'Onofrio's reaction was one of near panic. Liev Schreiber had to scream during his scene and was actually terrified. The stunt was executed entirely by Austin himself, and notably involved moments rarely given to performers: the opportunity to destroy things in public. Austin jumped over objects in a supermarket, knocking boxes over, and even slid underneath obstacles. The way Austin incorporated the physicality of a baseball player into the action and stunts was described as ingenious and fun. He bore the brunt of taking risks. Co-stars appreciated their own experiences. One actor enjoyed being hit with a baseball bat, while another got to ride in the car while performing actual stunts. Another performer burned around Flushing Meadows during their sequence. The process involved stepping through things very slowly and methodically before rehearsing. Once the performer felt comfortable, the speed would increase gradually, with cameras being incorporated progressively. One performer noted their heart skipping a beat initially before becoming genuinely excited. During one sequence, Austin and a co-star were screaming at each other to go faster, with Austin calling out for increased speed. What the director found when working with Austin was that he wasn't only willing to perform stunts, but was genuinely capable of executing them safely and effectively. The film featured an exceptional ensemble cast, including Austin Butler, Zoe Kravitz, Matt Smith, Benito, Liev Schreiber, Vincent Cassel, Nikita, Yuri, and Regina King. Austin Butler played Hank Thompson, a man with a promising high school baseball career who made a significant mistake that derailed his dreams. In the late 1990s, Hank lived in the East Village, working as a bartender at Paul's Bar and living without considering consequences. Zoe Kravitz played Yvonne, Hank's girlfriend, a strong woman who knows who she is but is also nurturing and warm. Zoe and Austin quickly found comfort with each other, bonding as though they were old friends. Matt Smith played a punk rock neighbor named Russ, who must return to England after his father dies, leaving a key and a fake cat toy before his departure. Hank becomes caught up in a tale involving a heist, gangsters, madness, death, and chaos. Benito played Colorado, a character created to represent the neighborhood in the 1990s authentically. Liev Schreiber and Vincent D'Onofrio played Orthodox Jewish men described as Robin Hood-type figures doing bad things, but seemingly for noble reasons within their own worlds. Nikita and Yuri played hardcore gangster characters. The casting of these roles proved challenging. Nikita and Yuri's characters, Alexei and Pavel, were Russian soldiers from the 1980s who fought in Afghanistan. Pavel was portrayed as crazy and wild, while Alexei was calmer. The two characters constantly covered and supported each other. Despite being separate characters, they functioned as a unified presence, with Yuri's character helping Nikita's when personal legal troubles arose. Griffin Dunne appeared in the film, having starred in After Hours, one of Darren's and Charlie Huston's favorite films. His inclusion was likely a nod and slight homage to that classic film. Regina King played Detective Roman. She was not portrayed as a bad person, but rather as someone who had made bad choices with bad people and justified specific actions, including those involving violence, by reasoning that the victims were already bad people. King was described as a powerhouse talent with considerable heart and soul, bringing levity to the detective character. She was terrific to work with and deeply appreciated by her scene partners. Tonic, the cat character, was described as amazing and stole every scene. The casting process for finding the right animal was more difficult than working with the cat itself. Once the right cat was found, production became significantly easier. Tonic came on set, ate treats, moved about the location, performed scenes, and left a true professional. The cat possessed remarkable presence, focus, and spontaneity that everyone admired. New York City is an incredible place to shoot. For Darren, New York represents the place where he grew up. He is a New Yorker through and through, with New York deeply embedded in his bones. Growing up in Brooklyn, time was spent primarily in the East Village, experiencing 99-cent beers at McSorley's, having hangover breakfasts at Mogador, and enjoying black and white cookies at Veselka in the afternoon. Darren knows that world so deeply and intensely, wanting it to be super authentic. The story is a New York narrative being crafted by New Yorkers. The production team explored New York's iconic locations, filming in the East Village, Coney Island, Brighton Beach, and Flushing Meadows. New York City in the 1990s was described as the greatest civilization that the world has ever known. The production team had to reintroduce period-appropriate elements to the city, bringing back phone booths, reopening Benny's Burritos, and recreating Kim's Video, a legendary video store. All of these details were enjoyable to recreate and reinstate. Chinatown has changed relatively little over time. However, shutting down Chinatown for filming proved challenging. Despite having many production assistants who spoke Chinese, residents showed little concern about the movie production occurring in their neighborhood. Each location in the city has its own distinct feel and character. Costume design reflected the era leather jackets, fitted tops, and baggy jeans characterized the 1990s aesthetic. At the end of production, the goal was for actors to feel confident and comfortable in their costumes while also feeling embodied within their characters. Like most people who have lived in New York City, one of the great joys is getting to know neighbors. New York always has lots of colorful, eccentric neighbors. Darren's neighbor in the East Village, Miss Kitty, had her first acting role at 92. Miss Kitty is considered a legend of the block. Filming in the East Village on Friday nights presented challenges, with residents occasionally shouting protests. However, for Darren, who had lived there much longer than recent arrivals, the neighborhood remained his own space. It was enjoyable to arrive in New York with extensive equipment and resources to execute the production. The team worked to make the most of every moment with cinematographer Maddie Libatique, the crew, Austin, Zoe, and the exceptional cast to create the best possible film. The completed work functions as a love letter to New York.